Hi, everyone. I'm here today to talk about staying healthy while traveling. I just got back from a 2 week trip to India. It was my ninth time to India. And I'm proud to say that I've only gotten sick one time when I was there of my 9 trips. And I know what happened. I went against my own rules. So I'm here to talk to you about how to stay healthy while traveling. And this doesn't have to be just or for a big trip like India to a developing country. This could be a road trip or domestic travel. So some of these things apply to both areas of travel. So of course, traveling is super exciting. It can also create an environment that makes you susceptible to getting sick by throwing us off of routines, eating differently, exposure to different air, pollution, viruses, sleep deprivation, and on can put us at risk for getting sick. Not to mention the stress of it all, which positive stress is still stress of traveling, but there can also be negative stress as well. But that can also weaken our immune system. Traveling also disturbs our vata dosha, that of air and space. Going back to Ayurveda, a lot of my tips here will have to do with Ayurveda. And this is the dosha that can cause the most disturbances. So, here are some tips I use to stay healthy while traveling. Really, staying healthy while traveling starts before traveling begins. So, in the week leading up to traveling, especially like a big trip to India, I will start probiotics if I'm worried about traveler's diarrhea to amp up my gut health. I will make sure I'm taking vitamins such as Emergency or Airborne, and I'll continue taking these. I'm not sponsored by any of these companies, by the way. And take them throughout the trip, especially if I'm flying or know I'll be around crowds. Definitely stay extra hydrated, especially if you're flying in a plane. I'll keep up on my exercise routine and for sure make sure I'm getting enough sleep. Never skimp on the sleep. Now, if you are flying while you're flying, instead of reaching for coffee, alcohol, or cold sodas when the beverage cart comes around, which can be dehydrating and the cold exacerbates vata, I like to bring my own tea. Yeah, you can do that. So I um, suggest bringing a travel mug like this. You can ask for hot water on the flight from a flight attendant or even before you get onto the plane. Maybe a nice barista at Starbucks will let you do that. Um, this is a great tea, Tulsi, lemon, ginger. Plain ginger, Tulsi, or chamomile are all great options. But you really can't go wrong. Warm tea is great. Our gut health also tends to get disturbed first and foremost. And we'll talk about this in a little bit, but the warm water tea helps keep our channels moving along to help combat the disturbed vata. Next, I can't emphasize this enough, but breathe, using your breath to your advantage. There's also an excellent book um, called Breath, The New Science of a Lost Art by James Nestor. Excellent book about the breath, but maintaining a deep belly breath, which is diaphragmatic breathing, will um, help your physiology stay strong, both physically and mentally, and will keep the channels or the nadis clear so they can bring vital oxygen and nutrients to your body and help keep you grounded because you're a little ungrounded while we're traveling. Next, sleeping can be a huge issue while traveling due to environmental factors or just plain due to disturbed vata. I tend to be a sensitive sleeper to noise. When I'm trying to sleep, I bring a pair of earplugs for not only for the plane, but for the hotel or wherever I'm staying. I do also utilize melatonin, especially if I'm crossing several time zones, such as India, which is about 11 time zones, completely opposite. So this helps signal the body that it's time to sleep. You can also utilize Ayurvedic herbs such as ashwagandha if it is right for your constitution. Now, once you get to your destination, I highly recommend getting into as many routines as quickly and as thoroughly as you're able to. I know of course, all your routines may be off, but eating times, eating at regular times, sleeping at regular times, and any habit or routine you tend to do at home to try to mimic, such as I use Nassia oil to put in my nose every day to help keep my nasal passages lubricated and clean. I use my neti pot to remove any pollution that's accumulated. I scrape my tongue. So routine is a great way to calm vata. Now, I just want to touch on using the neti pot while traveling. In India, the water is not safe to drink, so we use bottled water. And it can get a little tricky to set up the neti pot. So I have little packets of salt that you can buy at the drugstore. And I have a little, I don't have it with me, a little tin metal cup that's like a little camping cup that I take with me. And then this is from REI. It's a heater, water heater. And this is a plug for India. And you just stick this in the water, plug it in, and it boils in like 2 seconds. So I will do that in my little cup, boil the water, and mix it half with the other half in my neti pot with cold water and my salt. And that's how I do my neti pot. Little tricks that help. Okay, next, the second best thing that you can do besides routine to calm vata is oil. So I travel, this is almost gone because I use it almost all of it, with a tiny bottle of sesame oil, plain sesame oil. You can also use coconut oil, or other oils for your constitution. And I use this for my full body massage before showering, which is called Abhyanga. There's more information about that on my blog. And you can also use it to help you sleep by oiling your feet and ankles before bedtime. So oil is a huge, huge thing in Ayurveda. Now, I'm going to talk about something that we find a little taboo, but Ayurveda does not, and that is bowel habits. One of the biggest issues with traveling is changing bowel habits. Maybe TMI, but the very first time I was in India, I did not poop for 9 days. It was totally miserable. I totally expected to have traveler's diarrhea instead. Um, and our bowel movements are so important. We talk about it in Ayurveda quite a bit, and it is really an important indicator of the health of the rest of your body. Now, in traveling, some people may get nervous and get more diarrhea, or maybe have traveler's diarrhea. So it really depends on who you are, but just pay attention to where you tend to land. For me, the first time I realized after some time there's a huge mental component to this. A friend helped me realize that I felt out of control. This is one of the first biggest trips out of the country I'd taken in my early 20s. So once I considered this factor and did some twisting yoga postures, I was able to let it go. Getting back to any routines that can help regulate your bowels, that will help as well. Of course, you eat different foods while you're traveling, so this may be contributing as well. So you may consider an herb such as Triphala. Now, this is good for all body constitutions, and it supports regularity in a healthy microbiome. Castor oil can be as benefit as well as staying hydrated. Also, I find a good belly massage with that sesame oil you pack can be helpful. And when you do your belly massage, always go in a clockwise fashion, which is how our GI tract flows. Now, depending on where you are traveling, following simple food rules, and you can check the CDC website for an extensive list of this, but making sure you're drinking clean water, either bottled or if you are traveling with a water purifier, such as a LifeStraw water bottle, or I have this, it's called a SteriPen, and you just take it off. It works really well. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Oh, it works via UV filter. I have this attachment that attaches to an Nalgene water bottle, and you just stick it in here on your bottle, and it glows. And after a minute, your water is purified. So that can be a handy trick too, especially if you don't know you will be accessing clean water or not. Also, avoid ice. This is how I got sick the first time. I asked if the water was filtered. They said yes. And by the time I got home from the airport, I was sick. So avoid ice. Don't always believe what you hear. It's even if it's filtered, we don't know how much they change the filters. So it's just best to buy bottled water or filter your water yourself. Um, Avoid raw or uncooked food, such as biting into an apple, which the outside of the peel can be contaminated, or if it's, been washed in water, that's not safe for us. So they say peel it, boil it, cook it, or forget it. That's kind of a good mantra to live by. Avoiding any, so a banana, for example, an orange would be fine. Avoid street foods. These will all help you avoid traveler's diarrhea. Now, this is the first time I was leading a group of people. There's four of us in my group, and I'm happy to report that nobody in our group got food poisoning while in India by following these rules. However, I still do carry medicine for travelers, diarrhea, and antibiotic and Pepto-Bismol. Lastly, now this is a pharmacist, this is me coming out. I always check the CDC website or visit my travel clinic to see what is recommended for vaccines or otherwise. This is where Western medicine excels. No, I do not want to get malaria, typhoid, or other preventable diseases. It would also ruin my trip. So depending on um, where you are in the time of year. I also carry bug spray. While we're in India, monsoon season had just ended and dengue fever was running rampant. I don't want that either. So avoiding mosquitoes by using bug spray and just trying to avoid hanging outside around dusk. Um, there are also bed nets that you can buy, and um, we also use these elastic um, mosquito repellent bands on our ankles and on hands that had essential oils to repel mosquitoes. Do they work? I don't know, but none of us got sick. Also, always carry sunscreen wherever you're going that has sun, or not, because UV rays can get through clouds too. So, those are a few of my recommendations to stay healthy while traveling, and I certainly hope that you stay healthy while traveling as well. So, like and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next video.